Welcome. You've joined us for a deep dive, and this time we're really zeroing in on something absolutely vital for businesses looking to connect with their local customers, local SEO.
That's right.
You shared the ultimate local SEO playbook with us, and let's be honest, navigating all that online advice can feel like searching for a needle in a digital haystack.
It really can. Overwhelming is probably the word.
Totally. So our mission today is to cut through the noise, pull out the essential knowledge from this playbook, the strategies that will genuinely boost your local visibility.
Exactly. It's easy to feel lost. What we want to do here is provide a clear, focused understanding of what truly drives results in local SEO, all based on the playbook you shared. We're aiming for those actionable insights you can use, pretty much straight away.
And why should you, our listener, even be thinking about local SEO? Well, get this. Nearly half, 46% of all Google searches are actually for local information. Think about that.
Wow, almost half.
Yeah. And here's where it gets really interesting. A huge 88% of people who search for a local business on their smartphone end up visiting a related store within just 24 hours.
That's incredible. It really highlights the direct link between searching locally online and, well, actually going somewhere in the real world.
Imagine the potential customers you could be reaching and the opportunities you might be missing if you're not set up for those local searches.
Definitely. If your business isn't visible when people nearby are actively looking for what you offer, you're essentially invisible to ready-to-buy customers.
Precisely. So at its core, what is local SEO all about then?
Well, fundamentally, it's the key to making sure your business shows up for those nearby customers, ensuring you're front and center when they're searching right in their area.
Like optimizing your digital welcome mat to attract the local crowd.
That's a great way to put it. And the playbook gives us a really structured approach. We're going to start by laying the groundwork, the fundamental principles of local SEO, just to make sure we've got a solid base.
Right. And then we'll dive deep into what the playbook calls the cornerstone, your Google business profile. We'll cover everything from getting it set up to the more advanced stuff.
Yeah, the GBP is crucial. Following that, we'll explore local keyword research, figuring out exactly what terms your potential customers are actually typing into Google.
And from there, we get practical with on-page local SEO techniques, making sure your website itself is speaking the right language for search engines and local searchers.
Link building often feels a bit complex, so we'll break down some effective and, importantly, geographically relevant strategies for building those local online connections.
Can't forget reputation. Online reviews are huge today, so we'll look at managing and, even better, generating those crucial customer reviews.
Definitely. Then we'll move into analytics, how to actually track if your local SEO efforts are working and find ways to, fine-tune your approach.
And finally, for those ready to level up, we'll touch on some advanced tactics for getting a real competitive edge. The goal here is actionable insights you can start using right away. Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with the basics. What really makes local SEO different from, say, general SEO?
Okay, the fundamental difference, as the playbook points out, really comes down to focus and intent. General SEO aims for broad global rankings. Local SEO, though, is all about promoting your business within a specific geographic area, think search results and map listings. That map pack you see, that's prime local SEO territory.
Right, those top 3 or 4 listings with the map.
Exactly. And the key distinction is the intent of the searcher. Local searchers usually have a much more immediate need. They're often closer to making a purchase right then and there.
That makes sense. Searching best running shoes is different from running shoe store near me. The second one feels more urgent.
Precisely. And because of that local intent, local SEO has its own ranking factors, its own features like the map pack. It needs specific optimization techniques that aren't as critical for general SEO. For a local business, ranking high locally usually means higher quality leads and, frankly, faster conversions.
So it's not just about having a website. It's about being part of this whole local search ecosystem. What does that actually involve? What are the key components?
Think of it like a network. The playbook identifies 6 key parts. At the center, you've got your Google business profile, your digital storefront on Google.
Okay.
Then local directories and citations, that's listings on places like Yelp, Yellow Pages, industry sites. Third, review platforms where customers share their experiences, hugely influential. Fourth, your social media profiles, connecting with the local community. Fifth, your own website, filled with locally relevant content. And finally, your local backlink profile links from other local websites, which builds trust. It's all interconnected.
And they all need to be working together, sending consistent signals.
Absolutely. Google looks at the consistency and strength across this whole ecosystem to understand your relevance and prominence locally. Which brings us to the key ranking factors. There are tons of signals, but the playbook highlights the big ones.
Okay, give us the rundown. What are the top priorities?
All right, top of the list, NAP consistency. That's name, address, phone number. It has to be identical everywhere. Even tiny differences can hurt.
Like street versus sync dot.
Exactly like that. Then, proximity, how close you are to the searcher. Your primary and secondary business categories in GBP are huge. Keywords in your business title, carefully. Description, website content, still very important. Reviews, quantity, quality, how recent they are, major factor.
Okay, reviews are big. What else?
How complete your Google business profile is. Surprisingly impactful. Accuracy and consistency of your citations across the web again, that NAP consistency. Your website's mobile friendliness and speed, especially on phones. And finally, local backlinks and mentions from other local sites. They build authority.
That's quite a list. It sounds like Google's really trying to build a trustworthy picture of your business in the community.
Absolutely. And to simplify it, the playbook mentions Google's own 3 pillars of local ranking. Relevance, proximity, and prominence. Think relevance is what you offer, proximity is where you are, and prominence is why people should trust you.
Okay, let's break those down. Relevance first. What does that cover?
Relevance is basically how well your business matches what the searcher is looking for. It's influenced by your GBP categories, how well you use keywords in your listings and website, the specific service and products you list, and even the attributes you select in GBP like payment types or accessibility features.
Makes sense. Make it crystal clear what you do. What about proximity? Seems straightforward how close you are.
It is, but there are nuances. It's about closeness to the searcher or the location they type in their search. You can't move your shop, obviously, but you can optimize your service area settings in GBP. Define the neighborhoods, cities you serve, and creating location-specific website content helps too, even if the searcher isn't right next door.
Got it. So you can signal relevance for an area even if you're not physically the closest. That leaves prominence. What contributes to that?
Prominence is about how well-known and reputable your business is, online and offline. This is where reviews really shine number and quality. Also, the volume and consistency of your citations matter. Your website's overall authority, the quality of local backlinks, you earn big signals. Mentions in local online news, your social media activity, it all adds up to how established you seem locally.
So it's not just about existing online, but being seen as a trusted, established part of the community. Now, the playbook also talks about different types of local search intent. Why is understanding this important?
Understanding intent is crucial because it lets you fine-tune your content and strategy to match exactly what people are trying to find. The playbook breaks it into 3 main types.
Okay, what are they?
First, near me searches. People looking for something specific right around them, like coffee shop near me.
Classic example.
Second, service in location searches. Looking for a specific service in a specific area. Think plumber in Seattle or dog grooming downtown Austin.
Right.
And finally, branded local searches. Someone looking for your specific business, maybe for hours or directions, like workflow champions hours.
Knowing those different intents must really help decide which keywords to target and what info needs to be front and center, right?
Absolutely. Near me needs easy-to-find location and contact info. Service in location needs strong service and location pages on your site. Branded searches need accurate, up-to-date GBP and website info. Understanding the why helps you provide the right what and where.
Okay, that clarifies the fundamentals. Now let's move to that cornerstone the playbook talks about, the Google Business Profile.
Yes, the GBP, formerly Google My Business. It really is a linchpin.
Why is it considered so important for local businesses?
Well, the playbook nails it. It's your digital storefront right on Google Search and maps arguably the 2 most critical places for local discovery. Get this, 64% of consumers use GBP just to find contact details.
Wow, that's huge.
And businesses with complete optimized listings are 70% more likely to get actual visits. It's often the very first impression a potential customer has.
Okay, undeniably crucial. So someone hasn't touched their GBP listing. What's the absolute first step?
First step is to claim or create your listing. Go to business.google.com, search your business name. If it exists, claim it. If not, create a new profile. Then the critical next step, verification. This proves to Google you're the legit owner.
How does Google usually verify?
Most common is postcard verification. They mail a code to your business address, you enter it online.
Okay.
Sometimes phone or email verification is an option. If you're already verified with Google Search Console, you might get instant verification, which is nice. And for businesses with multiple locations, there's a bulk verification option to streamline things.
Right. Once it's claimed and verified, it's not set it and forget it, is it? Optimization is key. What are the absolute must-dos?
Definitely not set and forget. The Playbook has a great checklist. First, business name. Use your exact real-world name. No keyword stuffing that's a penalty risk.
Got it. Real name only.
Next, business categories. Choose one primary category, be specific. Italian restaurant, not just restaurant. Then add up to 9 relevant secondary categories. Again, specificity helps Google match you to searches.
Makes sense. What else?
Your business description. You get 750 characters. Write a compelling summary. Include keywords naturally. Highlight your unique value, but avoid promos or links in the description itself.
Okay, keep it descriptive, not salesy.
Then, address and service areas. Ensure your address is perfectly consistent everywhere online. If you're a service area business, clearly define the areas you cover: cities, neighborhoods, regions.
That consistency theme again. Crucial. What else is essential?
Hours of operation. Keep them meticulously updated. Regular hours and special hours for holidays, seasonal changes. Vital.
Nothing worse than showing up to find a place closed when Google said it was open.
Exactly. Then, attributes. Go through the list for your category and select all relevant ones: payment types, Wi-Fi, accessibility, etc. These help you show up in filtered searches.
Right, those little check marks people can filter by.
And finally, products and services. List everything comprehensively. Add descriptions, pricing if appropriate. Keep it updated with new offerings.
It sounds like a lot of detail, but it makes sense. The more info you give Google, the better it can showcase you. What about visuals, photos, and videos?
Absolutely critical. Add high-quality photos, exterior with signage, interior atmosphere, your team, product, services, and action. Videos, too, if you have them. Keep them updated seasonally. Good visuals make your listing pop and give customers a real sense of your business.
A picture is worth 1,000 words, especially online. Okay, let's talk reviews. The Playbook calls them the second most important ranking factor. That's huge.
It is. And their impact goes way beyond ranking. They hugely influence customer decisions. 93% of consumers say reviews impact their purchase choices.
Yeah.
So generating positive reviews isn't just SEO. It's fundamentally about getting more customers.
So how do you get those positive reviews? It can feel awkward asking.
The Playbook suggests a systematic approach. Send follow-up emails after a good experience. Put a request on receipts. Train staff to ask satisfied customers. Critically, make it easy. Create a simple, direct link to your Google review page. The Playbook mentions the goo.google review your business format.
Oh, that short link is a great tip. Makes it much easier. Any other key points for encouraging reviews?
Timing is key. Ask when satisfaction is high after a compliment, a repeat visit, and make the process frictionless. Clear, simple instructions. The easier it is, the more likely they'll do it.
Okay, easy and timely. But what about negative reviews? Those can sting. How should businesses handle them?
Responding to all reviews, positive and negative, is essential. It shows you're engaged. For positive ones, respond within 24-48 hours. Thank them by name, reference specifics, reinforce the positive, invite them back, sign off personally.
And for the negative ones, what's the protocol?
Respond promptly, ideally within 24 hours. Express genuine concern and empathy. Acknowledge their feedback. Apologize sincerely if needed. Crucially, aim to take the conversation offline. Provide direct contact info, phone, or email to discuss it further.
Okay, move it out of the public eye.
Right. Offer to understand and make things right. Avoid getting defensive in your public reply. Once resolved privately, you could potentially follow up and see if they might update the review. The Playbook has templates emphasizing acknowledgement, apology, offline contact, and resolution focus.
That sounds like a solid, professional approach, turning a negative into a potential positive, or at least showing you care. Now, the Playbook also mentions GBP posts and updates. Are these underutilized features worth the effort?
Absolutely. Think of them like mini social media updates right on your GBP listing. They keep it fresh, highlight timely info, and engage customers. There are 4 types: what's new for general updates, events for promoting events, offer for deals, and product to showcase specific items.
So it keeps the listing dynamic. Best practices for using them.
Consistency is key. Aim for weekly posts, as standard ones expire in 7 days. Use high-quality images, 750 by 540 recommended. Keep copy concise, 1,500 charts, key info up front. Use a strong call to action button, learn more, book now. Include keywords naturally. A content calendar helps maintain consistency. and track performance in GBP Insights.
Ah, GBP Insights, the analytics part. What valuable info can businesses get there, and how can they use it to actually improve?
Insights offer a goldmine. You see search queries that triggered your listing,
Yes.
direct your name, category, service. You see customer actions, website clicks, direction requests, calls, messages.
Okay.
Also, photo views compared to competitors, popular visit times, average visit duration. Lots of data.
But how do you turn that data into action?
Good question. The Playbook gives examples. Low discovery searches, maybe refined categories or keywords. High views but low actions. Enhance your description or photos. Popular hours info. Helps with staffing or targeted offers. Fewer photos than competitors. Add more visuals. And analyzing the specific search queries people use. Fantastic inspiration for website content, blog posts, FAQs addressing exactly what people are looking for.
So it's about paying attention and using the data strategically. The playbook also mentions advanced GBP strategies. What are a couple of those?
One is proactive Q&A management. You can add your own FAQs and answers to the Q&A section. Also monitor user questions and answer promptly. Upvoting helpful Q&As boosts visibility.
Good tip.
Another is the messaging feature. Enabling it lets customers message you directly from your listing. If you use it, set up auto responses and have protocols for timely replies. Integrating a booking button, if you use scheduling software, is also powerful. And for multi-location businesses, individual optimized profiles for each location are crucial, unique details, photos, but brand consistent.
Those all sound like smart ways to engage further. It's clear GBP is fundamental. Okay, moving on to the next piece. Local keyword research. How do we figure out what our local customers are actually searching for?
That's a critical question. Local keyword research, as the playbook says, is the foundation of your strategy. Unlike general SEO, the focus here is squarely on geographically intended terms, phrases, people in your specific city or neighborhood use when looking for businesses like yours.
So not just plumber, but emergency plumber Seattle or something like that? What are the different types of local keywords we should look for?
The playbook breaks them into three main types. First, geo-modified keywords.
Yeah.
Your service product plus a location, like tax accountant Seattle or pizza delivery downtown.
Okay.
Second, near me keywords, terms explicitly including near me, like dentist near me or best coffee near me.
Right.
And third, implicit local keywords, terms that imply local need even without a location mention, like emergency plumber or walk-in haircut. Google often figures out the local intent based on the searcher's location.
Got it. So we need to think about all those variations. Once we have a list of potential keywords, how do we evaluate which ones are actually worth targeting?
Good question. The playbook highlights key metrics. Search volume in your target area, how many people search for it monthly. But remember, lower volume, specific keywords often convert better.
Yeah, interesting point.
Keyword difficulty, how hard is it to rank for? Business relevance, does it truly match what you offer? Conversion potential, how likely is a searcher to become a customer? And the competitive landscape, who's already ranking. The playbook stresses that a term like emergency water damage restoration Bellevue might have lower volume than water damage company, but the intent and likelihood to convert are much higher.
That makes total sense. High urgency, high intent. What tools can we use for this research? Any recommendations?
There's a good mix of free and paid tools, free options. Google Autocomplete, you start typing in incognito mode. People also ask, and related searches on Google results pages are goldmines. Google Keyword Planner lets you filter by location. Google Trends shows regional popularity over time, good for seasonal businesses. And don't forget your own GBP insights. See the actual queries triggering your listing.
Great free resources. What about paid tools? What extras do they offer?
Paid tools often give more in-depth data, better local filtering, and competitive analysis. SEMrush's Keyword Magic tool has location filters. RF's Keywords Explorer filters by city region. Moz Local has tools for local market analysis. Bright Local offers a local search rank checker. They provide more granular data on volume, difficulty, and competitor strategies locally.
Okay, so tools help gather the data. What's the actual step-by-step process for doing comprehensive local keyword research? Where do we start?
The playbook suggests a four-step process. Step 1, create your seed keyword list. Brainstorm core services, products, location terms, city, neighborhoods, counties, local nicknames, and qualifier terms like affordable, best, near me, open now.
Just get all the basic ideas down. Step 2.
Step 2, expand that list using the research tools. Combine service and location terms. Use competitor analysis tools to see what rivals rank for. Discover long tail variations, those longer, more specific phrases that often show high intent and are less competitive.
Okay, broaden the scope using the tools. Step 3?
Step 3, analyze search volume and competition. Look at local volume estimates. Assess keyword difficulty, who's ranking now. Analyze the SRP itself. Is it all big brands, or is there room for local players? This helps gauge the effort needed.
Makes sense. And the final step?
Step 4, map keywords to the buyer journey stages. Is someone using this keyword just becoming aware of a need? Informational? Are they comparing options? Consideration? Or are they ready to buy? Decision transactional. This understanding is crucial.
Right, that ties back to the different intents: navigational, informational, commercial investigation, transactional.
Exactly. Navigational workflow champions address needs prominent contact info. Informational, how to choose a consultant, needs helpful blog content. Commercial investigation, best consultant in Seattle, needs strong, unique selling points highlighted. Transactional, consultant near me, needs clear calls to action and easy conversion paths. Understanding the why behind the search helps you deliver the right what and where.
It's not just the words, but the meaning behind them. So once we've done all this research, how do we turn it into a coherent local keyword strategy?
The Playbook offers a three-part approach. First, create a keyword prioritization matrix. Rank keywords based on relevance, reasonable competition, and good local volume. High, medium, low priority. Focus initial efforts on the high bucket.
Focus on the best opportunities first. Makes sense. Part 2.
Second, keyword to content mapping. Plan where each prioritized keyword will be targeted on your website. Homepage targets primary service plus main location. Service pages target specific service keywords plus location. Location pages, if needed, target keywords for specific areas. Blog posts target informational long-tail keywords. FAQ pages target question-based searches. The Playbook gives examples for each page type.
A very organized way to deploy keywords. What's the third part?
Third is ongoing tracking and refining. Local keyword research isn't a one-off. Track keyword rankings locally. Monitor search volume and competition monthly. Crucially, track conversions, which keywords actually drive leads or sales, not just traffic. Based on data and seasonal trends, adjust your strategy over time. A keyword calendar for seasonal businesses is helpful too.
So it's a continuous cycle. Research, implement, analyze, refine. Okay, we understand keywords now. Let's move to actually using them on our website, on-page local SEO techniques.
Right. This is about optimizing your actual website pages to rank better locally and, just as importantly, to convert visitors into customers.
Where do we start with on-page? Title tags and meta descriptions seem fundamental.
They absolutely are. They significantly influence both your rankings and whether someone clicks on your listing in the search results. For title tags, the Playbook suggests a structure like primary keyword plus secondary keyword plus brand name. Keep them under 60 characters ideally.
Okay.
Integrate your main city or neighborhood naturally. Make sure every page has a unique title tag. And try to put the most important keywords near the beginning front-loading. The Playbook gives examples like expert business consulting Seattle workflow champions for a homepage, or streamline operations business process analysis workflow champions for a service page, but avoid stuffing multiple locations into one title.
Got it. Unique, concise, location-focused, keyword-rich but natural. What about meta descriptions? They don't directly impact ranking as much, but they influence clicks, right?
Exactly. Meta descriptions are your ad copy in the search results. Aim for 120-155 characters. Include local elements like your city or service area. Clearly state your value proposition, why choose you. Include a call to action, learn more, get a quote, and weave in your target keywords naturally. Again, make each one unique and compelling.
So title tag gets them ranked, meta description gets them to click. Now, a big part of local on-page is creating location-specific content, especially location landing pages. What makes a good one?
Location landing pages are crucial if you serve multiple distinct areas or have multiple physical locations. Each page needs unique content. Aim for at least 500 words. Don't just swap out city names on a template. That's thin content, and Google doesn't like it.
So what should be on these pages?
Include local references, landmarks, neighborhood names, local events. Add location-specific testimonials or case studies. Use images specific to that location. Embed a map and provide clear directions. Include local schema markup, which we'll get to. And maybe add locally relevant FAQs. Avoid creating pages for areas you don't actually serve.
Makes sense. Make it genuinely local and valuable. What about other local content marketing strategies beyond just location pages?
The Playbook suggests several great ideas. Create local resource guides, like the Ultimate Guide to Business Networking Groups in Seattle. Cover local events relevant to your industry. Key takeaways from Seattle's Small Business Summit. Develop local case studies, how we helped ABC Company streamline operations in downtown Seattle. Highlight your community involvement. Workflow Champions supports Seattle Small Business Week, or even comment on local news affecting your industry, what Seattle's new business tax means for local entrepreneurs.
Those all sound like great ways to demonstrate local expertise and connection. You mentioned local schema markup. What is that exactly and why is it important?
Schema markup, or structured data, is basically code you add to your website that helps search engines understand your content more effectively. For local businesses, it can unlock those eye-catching rich results in search, like star ratings or event details appearing right in the listing.
Okay, so it helps Google understand context. What are the essential schema types for local businesses?
The playbook highlights a few key ones. Local business schema is foundational. It clearly defines your NAP, hours, price range, maybe even a booking link. Organization schema covers your logo, social profiles, general contact info. FAQ page schema for your FAQ pages can generate those rich snippets, answering questions directly in search results. Review schema can pull your aggregate star rating into search results, boosting click-through rates. And breadcrumbless schema helps show your site structure in search results and improves user experience.
How do businesses actually implement this schema code? Do you need to be a coding expert?
Not necessarily. Google offers a tool called the Structured Data Markup Helper, which can guide you. You can also find templates on schema.org. The preferred format nowadays is JSON LD, which is a script you typically add to the head section of your HTML. The playbook even provides a JSON LD example for local business.
And how do you check if you've done it correctly?
Google has a rich results test tool that shows if your pages are eligible for rich results based on your schema. The schema.org validator is another tool to check for errors in your implementation. Testing is crucial.
Definitely want to make sure it's working right. Now, mobile optimization. We know it's huge for local search. That stat about 76% of local smartphone searchers visiting within a day.
It's absolutely critical. Your site must work flawlessly on mobile devices. The playbook details core factors. First, responsive design. Your site must adapt automatically to different screen sizes. Use Google's mobile-friendly test.
Okay, what else?
Page speed. Mobile users are impatient. Aim for loading times under 3 seconds. Compress images, minimize code, use browser caching, eliminate render blocking resources. Use Google Page Speed Insights to test and get recommendations.
Speed is key. What about navigation and content on mobile?
Mobile navigation needs to be clear and simple. Menus should be easy to use. Buttons and links need to be large enough to tap easily. The playbook suggests a minimum size of 44 by 44 pixels. Prioritize the most important information so it's visible without excessive scrolling. Use shorter paragraphs, bullet points, readable font sizes, at least 16px. Make sure critical info like address, hours, and phone number are immediately visible.
And specific mobile elements for local.
Yes. Include click-to-call functionality using tell.links. Make phone numbers prominent. Embed a map. Have a clear Get Directions button. Make it super easy for someone on the go to contact you or find you.
Makes perfect sense. Make it effortless for mobile users. Are there any more advanced on-page techniques the playbook mentions?
A few good ones. Creating neighborhood-specific content, going even more granular than city-level pages. Developing a local internal linking strategy, using anchor text that includes geographic terms, like linking our services in Ballard to your Ballard location page. Optimizing images locally, use descriptive file names, add geo-specific alt text, maybe even location data in the image metadata. Include images of local landmarks, creating a comprehensive local business FAQ page addressing location-specific questions. And the playbook suggests using a local SEO audit template to regularly check all these on-page elements: titles, metas, H1s, NAP, schema, location pages, mobile experience, images, internal links, local CTAs.
Wow, okay. That covers a lot for on-page optimization. It's clear that tailoring your website content and structure for local search is vital. Now, let's shift gears to something that often feels a bit nebulous: local link building. How do we get other relevant local websites to link to ours?
Yeah, local link building is less about just raw domain authority and much more about building real community connections and demonstrating geographical relevance. It's about quality and local context over sheer quantity.
So where do we find these local link opportunities? Who should we be connecting with?
The playbook suggests identifying strategic local partnership opportunities. Think complementary, non-competing businesses that serve the same customer base. For example, a business consultant might partner with a local CPA firm.
Okay, good idea. Who else?
Local chapters of industry organizations. Your own vendors and suppliers, maybe they have partner pages. Even your B2B clients or customers who have their own websites. It's about finding natural fits within your local business community.
And once we identify potential partners, what are some tactics for actually getting those links?
Relationship-based tactics work best. Offer to be listed on their local resource page. Maybe offer a reciprocal link if it makes sense, but don't overdo reciprocal linking. Collaborate on content. Co-host a webinar. Contribute to an expert roundup post. Get involved in local business associations. Join, participate, offer content, maybe take a leadership role. Offer to interview local business leaders for your blog, or position yourself as an expert source they can quote or feature.
Building genuine connections seems key. What about local sponsorships? Can those generate valuable links?
Definitely. Sponsoring local events, youth sports teams, charity fundraisers, community projects, it builds goodwill and often results in links from the organization's website, especially if they have a dedicated sponsors page on an established domain.
How do you maximize the SEO value from the sponsorships?
Be strategic. When you sponsor, ask if they can link back to a specific page on your site, using relevant anchor text, if appropriate. Provide them with high-quality logos or images. Promote your sponsorship on your own social media and website. You could even create a community involvement page on your site, documenting your local support and linking out to the organizations you sponsor, and hopefully getting links back.
Smart. Leverage the sponsorship beyond just the event itself. Now, what about local directories and citations? These seem foundational.
They absolutely are. Citations are online mentions of your business, name, address, and phone number, NAP. Consistency here is paramount, as we discussed. Getting listed accurately in relevant directories is a fundamental part of local SEO.
Are all directories created equal? Where should businesses prioritize their
The
efforts?
Playbook suggests tiers. Tier 1 are the must-haves. Google Business Profile, obviously. Bing Places, Apple Maps, Facebook, Yelp, maybe the Better Business Bureau, BBB, and major industry-specific directories.
Okay, the big players. Tier 2.
Tier 2 are highly recommended. Your local Chamber of Commerce, maybe Yellow Pages, yes, still relevant online. Local newspaper websites, regional business associations, Nextdoor if applicable in your area.
And Tier 3?
Tier 3 are more niche, smaller local community websites, highly specific industry directories, maybe hyper-local blogs. Focus on relevance here.
Makes sense. And the best practices for building these citations.
Perfect consistency. Use a master document for your exact NAP and stick to it religiously. Prioritize completeness. Fill out every possible field in the directory profile. Select the most accurate business categories, staying consistent with your GBP primary category. Add rich media like photos or videos whenever allowed. And monitor and maintain your citations. Review them quarterly for accuracy.
Are there tools to help manage citations across all these directories? It sounds like a lot to handle manually.
Yes, there are several citation management tools. The Playbook mentions BrightLocal, MozLocal, Semrush Listing Management, and Yext. These platforms can help you distribute your business information consistently across many directories and monitor for inaccuracies. They can be a significant time saver, especially for businesses with multiple locations.
Good to know there are tools for that. Now, another way to get links is by creating content that naturally attracts them.
Yeah.
What kind of locally relevant content works well for link building?
Creating high-value local content is a fantastic strategy. Think local resource guides like that Ultimate Guide to Business Networking in Seattle example. Original local data and research specific to your market can be very linkable.
Interesting. What else?
Expert interviews with local leaders or influencers, Q&As, podcast appearances, roundups, analysis of local issues relevant to your industry, offering your expert perspective. Even interactive local content like maps of resources, decision-making tools for local choices, or community event calendars. Content that provides unique local value is more likely to get shared and linked to by other local entities.
So, become the local resource for something specific. How do you promote this great local content to actually earn those links?
Promotion is key. Build relationships with local journalists or bloggers, local PR outreach. Share media-ready summaries or offer exclusive insights. Engage with local influencers, tag them when relevant, offer early access, explore co-branded content. Share your content in relevant local social media groups, neighborhood Facebook groups, LinkedIn communities, city-specific subreddits, and don't underestimate targeted email outreach to local organizations or businesses that might find your content valuable. Personalize your outreach, explain the benefit to their audience, and make it easy for them to link. The Playbook includes a successful outreach example focusing on providing value.
Proactive outreach is necessary then. How do we measure if our local link building efforts are actually working?
Good question. Track key metrics. The number of new links acquired, link quantity, the authority and relevance of the linking sites, link quality, the geographic and industry relevance of the links, how quickly you're acquiring links, link velocity, the amount of referral traffic coming from those links, and ultimately changes in your local search rankings and appearances in the local pack.
How do you keep track of all that?
Creating a local link building dashboard can be helpful. Use tools to monitor new links. Categorize your link sources, partnerships, directories, content. Map the geographic distribution of your links. Look for correlations between link building activities and ranking improvements. Try to calculate ROI if possible. The Playbook suggests a schedule. Weekly checks for unlinked mentions, monthly outreach community work, quarterly content promotion pushes, biannual citation audits, and an annual deep dive into your overall link profile.
A structured approach helps. Finally, are there common pitfalls to avoid in local link building?
Yes. Common mistakes include ignoring relevance, getting links from anywhere, over-optimizing anchor text, making it look unnatural, relying too heavily on reciprocal linking, neglecting relationship building, just asking for links cold, having inconsistent NAP across link profiles, and submitting to low-quality or irrelevant directories. The sustainable approach is always about creating value, building real relationships, focusing on local relevance, participating in the community, and building a diverse, natural-looking link profile over time.
Value, relationships, relevance. Got it. Okay, that covers link building. Now let's talk about online reputation management. We touched on reviews with GBP, but this seems broader. How critical is overall online reputation for local SEO?
It's incredibly critical. It directly influences your local search performance. Higher-rated businesses tend to rank better. And as we said, 87% of consumers read online reviews for local businesses. Your reputation impacts both search engines and potential customers.
So how do businesses keep track of what's being said about them across the web? What's a good monitoring strategy?
You need a comprehensive monitoring strategy. The Playbook suggests tiers here too. Primary platforms to monitor daily: Google Business Profile, Yelp, Facebook, and key industry-specific review sites.
Daily check-ins for the big ones.
Okay. Secondary platforms to check weekly. Perhaps the BBB, Yellow Pages, other relevant local directories, maybe Nextdoor. And you need ongoing monitoring for social mentions on platforms like Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, even Reddit, looking for brand mentions.
That sounds like a lot to keep eyes on. Are there tools for this?
Yes, definitely. Google Alerts is a free starting point for web mentions. Paid tools like Mention, Bright Local's Reputation Manager, ChatMeter, or BirdEye offer more comprehensive review and social listening monitoring across multiple platforms in one place.
How do you manage the workflow once you have the tools?
Set up alerts. Assign clear responsibility within your team for monitoring and responding. Categorize reviews: positive, negative, neutral. Prioritize responses, usually tackling negative reviews first. Track patterns or recurring issues mentioned in feedback. Document everything. Creating a shared document with pre-approved response templates for common scenarios can really streamline the process.
Good idea on the templates. We talked about generating reviews via GBP, but are there other strategies?
The core principles are the same. Create a systematic process. The Playbook outlines 5 steps. Identify opportunities, satisfied customers. Time requests strategically, peak satisfaction. Make it simple, easy links instructions. Implement multiple request methods, email, text, in person. Create a sustainable schedule, ongoing effort.
And what about the actual request? Any tips for phrasing?
The Playbook provides effective templates for email, text messages, and even in-person scripts. Key tips for higher conversion rates. Be specific about why you're asking, e.g., feedback helps us improve. Appreciate their business. Briefly highlight the positive impact their review could have. Follow up maybe once if they don't respond, but respect their decision if they decline. Don't be pushy.
Okay, be polite, specific, and make it easy. Now, handling negative feedback effectively. We covered the GBP response basics, but the Playbook calls it an opportunity. How can a negative review actually strengthen your reputation?
It seems counterintuitive, but a well-handled negative review can demonstrate accountability and excellent customer service to everyone reading it. It shows you take feedback seriously. It provides valuable insights into areas where your business might need improvement. It adds authenticity. A profile with only glowing 5-star reviews can sometimes look suspicious. It's a learning opportunity. The key is the response framework.
Remind us of that framework again.
Respond promptly, within 24 hours. Acknowledge their specific concern and apologize sincerely. Take responsibility. Don't make excuses or blame the customer. Outline the solution or steps you're taking to address the issue. Take the conversation offline by providing contact info. And follow up internally to fix the root cause and potentially with the customer later. The playbook gives specific response templates for different scenarios, like service issues versus communication problems. Creating a comprehensive review response guide for your team is highly recommended.
Turning lemons into lemonade, essentially. Beyond reviews, what about building other trust signals across the web? What else influences perception?
Great question. Trust signals go beyond reviews. The playbook highlights several key areas: business credentials and certifications, display industry accreditations, professional licenses, specific training badges prominently on your site.
Okay, show off your qualifications.
Awards and recognition. Showcase any industry awards, community best of wins, positive media mentions, create an awards section, or feature logos.
Build credibility. What else?
Case studies and success stories. Detailed narratives of how you helped clients, ideally with specific results, before and afters, maybe video testimonials. These are powerful proof points.
Show, don't just tell.
Media appearances and publications. If you've been featured in local news, written guest articles, appeared on podcasts, or been quoted as an expert, highlight this. It builds authority. Create a press or in news page.
Leverage third-party validation. How can businesses systematically build these trust signals?
The playbook suggests a quarterly framework.
Go.
Q1, audit your current signals and build the foundation. Add basic credentials. Q2, focus heavily on review generation and response. Q3, target specific certifications or awards, build out case studies. Q4, focus on PR, media outreach, and showcasing community involvement. It provides a structured way to tackle it over time.
A phased approach. How do you measure the impact of these trust-building efforts?
Look for changes in conversion rates on pages where trust signals are displayed. Monitor time on site and bounce rates. See if local rankings improve, especially for terms related to trust, like best or award-winning. Track review sentiment trends. Sometimes customers will directly mention a trust factor. I saw you won that award. Look at return visitor rates and how often you appear in the local pack.
Connecting trust to tangible business results. Are there any advanced reputation tactics?
Yes. Proactive sentiment monitoring using social listening tools, customer surveys, even analyzing employee feedback to catch issues early. Developing an online reputation recovery strategy for major crises involving an audit, operational changes, promoting positive content, community engagement, maybe even professional help. And for multi-location businesses, implementing location-specific reputation management monitoring reviews per location, holding managers accountable, benchmarking against local competitors, addressing trends unique to certain areas.
Managing reputation at scale. Okay, reputation is clearly intertwined with local success. Now let's get into measuring all these efforts. Local SEO analytics and measurement. Why is tracking so vital?
If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Analytics are crucial for understanding what's working, what's not, identifying opportunities, and ultimately proving the value and ROI of your local SEO efforts.
Where do we start with tracking? Google Analytics seems like the obvious place. How do we set it up specifically for local tracking, assuming we're using Google Analytics 4, GA4?
Right, GA4 is the current standard. First, set up your GA4 property if you haven't. Enable enhanced measurement features. They automatically track things like scrolls, outbound clicks, site search. Crucially, link your Google Search Console account to GA4 to get valuable query data.
Okay, basic setup and linking Search Console. What next for local focus?
Create location-based segments or audiences in GA4 to analyze traffic and behavior from specific geographic areas. Configure conversion tracking for locally relevant actions, maybe views of a specific location page, submissions of a contact form on a location page, clicks on phone numbers or direction buttons. Implement UTM parameters consistently for your local marketing campaigns, like GVP posts or local ads, to track their performance accurately. The playbook gives UTM examples. You might also set up custom channel groupings to better isolate traffic specifically from local organic search, your GBP listing, or local directories.
So tailor GA4 to focus on local visitors and actions. How do we track specific user behavior related to local intent on the site?
Implement enhanced event tracking. You can set up custom events in GA4 to track clicks on specific local elements like phone numbers, address links, get directions buttons, interactions with embedded maps, or engagement with specific local content pieces. If you have separate domains for booking or ordering, configure cross-domain tracking. Google Tag Manager, GTM, is incredibly powerful here. You can use GTM to set up triggers for these local interactions, deploy the necessary GA4 tags, and even capture variables like which location page the user was on.
GTM for more granular tracking?
Yeah.
Okay, once we have the tracking set up, what are the absolute key metrics we should be monitoring for local SEO success?
The playbook breaks them down nicely. Traffic metrics. Look at local organic sessions, filter by your target geographic areas. Watch growth trends. Analyze session quality. Time on site, pages per session. Monitor your Google Business Profile insights closely. Profile views, customer actions, clicks, calls, directions, photo views, Q&A interactions. Track search visibility metrics like your rankings for local keywords, how often you appear in the local pack, and your overall share of voice compared to competitors.
So visibility and traffic, what about engagement?
Engagement metrics. Analyze location page performance. How much traffic do they get? How long do people stay? What do they interact with? What's the bounce rate?
Yeah.
Compare mobile versus desktop engagement. Are mobile users converting differently? Are they using maps more? Measure local content effectiveness. Are your local blog posts driving traffic and engagement? Are people interacting with local event pages?
And ultimately conversions.
Conversion metrics are key. Track local conversion rates. What percentage of visitors from local organic search complete a desired action? Form fills. Bookings. Use call tracking software to measure call volume originating from local search, track call duration and quality, and attribute calls back to specific campaigns or keywords. If applicable, monitor store visit conversions. Google Ads can provide data on this, and you can look for correlations between online activity and offline visits, potentially using multi-channel attribution models.
Connecting online efforts to real-world results. How do we actually measure the return on investment, ROI, from all this local search work?
Measuring ROI is crucial for justifying the investment. First, establish value metrics. Assign a monetary value to your local conversions. What's the average value of a lead? What's your lead to customer conversion rate? What's the customer lifetime value, CLV, maybe even broken down by location?
Putting a dollar figure on those actions. Okay.
Use appropriate attribution modeling. Don't just give all credit to the last click. Understand the whole customer journey. Calculate your costs, accurately factor in time spent, resource allocation, tool subscriptions, agency fees, content creation costs.
Then the calculation itself.
The basic ROI formula is revenue gain cost of investment. Cost of investment expressed as a percentage. But consider advanced factors too, the long-term value of ranking improvements, potential reduced costs in other marketing channels, the competitive advantage gained. Compare ROI across different locations if you have them, or across different local SEO tactics. Benchmark against industry standards if possible.
How do you effectively communicate this value to stakeholders or clients?
Focus on business impact reporting. Connect your local SEO metrics directly to key business KPIs, overall growth objectives, or gains in local market share. Track incremental growth, show before and after results, year-over-year improvements, how you're performing against key competitors. Conduct cost efficiency analysis, compare your customer acquisition cost, CAC, from local SEO versus paid channels, highlight savings achieved, or demonstrate improvements in efficiency over time. Frame it in terms they understand business growth and efficiency. How can we pull all this key data together into a useful local SEO reporting dashboard? A dashboard provides a snapshot of performance. Design principles. Focus on actionable metrics, not just vanity numbers. Offer multi-level reporting, a high-level overview, plus the ability to drill down into specifics. Automate data collection as much as possible.
What should be on the dashboard?
Essential components include a local visibility overview, keyword rankings, map pack frequency, GBP impressions, local traffic and engagement data, traffic by geography, location page performance, user flows, conversion tracking, conversions by location, call tracking metrics, form submissions, the ROI calculation, if possible, and competitive benchmarking, your share of voice versus competitors, competitor rankings, review analysis.
What tools are good for building these dashboards?
Looker Studio, formerly Google Data Studio, is a popular free option that integrates well with Google products. Many SEO platforms, like SEMrush, Ahrefs, Moz, BrightLocal, have built-in reporting dashboards. Business intelligence, BI tools like Tableau or Power BI offer more advanced capabilities. Data integration might involve using APIs, custom connectors, or simple CSV exports depending on the tools. Decide on a reporting cadence that makes sense, maybe weekly checks on key metrics, monthly deep dives, quarterly strategy reviews.
Find the right tool and rhythm. And finally, how do we use all this measurement to continuously improve?
Implement a continuous improvement process. Schedule regular performance review cycles, monthly, quarterly. Establish a testing framework, A/B. Test different title tags. Experiment with link building approaches. Test different GBP features or post types. Integrate competitive intelligence. Regularly analyze what your successful local competitors are doing and learn from them. It's an ongoing loop of measure, analyze, test, refine.
Always learning, always improving. Okay, we've covered a huge amount, from fundamentals to analytics. Now, for those looking to really gain an edge, let's touch on the advanced local SEO tactics mentioned in the playbook.
Right, these are strategies for businesses that have the basics nailed down and want to push further, especially in competitive markets or for multi-location businesses.
Let's start with multi-location SEO. What are the key considerations when managing SEO for many locations?
Scalability is key. First, website architecture. You need a structure that supports multiple locations effectively. Options include using subdirectories, yourdomain.com /location, subdomains, location.yourdomain.com, or even entirely separate domains for each location. Each has pros and cons regarding SEO authority and management complexity. Subdirectories are often preferred for consolidating authority.
And optimizing those location pages at scale.
You need unique content for each location page, as we discussed. Avoid simple templates with just the city name changed. Use canonical tags correctly if there's necessary overlap. Develop template strategies that allow for customization but maintain consistency. Ensure clear internal linking from the main corporate site to local pages and vice versa, maybe using a hub-and-spoke model. Distribute authority effectively.
What about managing multiple Google business profiles?
Use GBP location groups and the GBP Manager interface for efficient management. Set up appropriate user permissions for corporate versus local teams. Ensure consistent core information, NAP, categories, but allow for local relevance in descriptions, photos, posts, and attributes. Develop a strategy for managing reviews and engagement at scale, maybe centralized monitoring with localized responses, potentially empowering local managers with training and templates. Create a location-specific posting strategy that balances corporate messaging with local promotions or events.
And managing the data consistency across all locations.
Local data management systems are vital. Using platforms like Yext, BrightLocal, or MozLocal helps syndicate consistent NAP and other data across major aggregators and directories efficiently. Ensure you have robust data schemas. For franchises, specific considerations around franchise agreements, brand compliance versus franchise autonomy come into play, and implement chain-wide reporting to compare performance across locations, identify success patterns, and group locations for analysis.
Managing multiple locations definitely adds complexity. Okay, another advanced area, voice search optimization. How is voice search different, and how do we optimize for it locally?
Voice search behavior is different. Queries are often longer, more conversational, frequently phrased as questions. People use different devices, smart speakers, phone assistants. Understanding these patterns is key.
So, how do we optimize?
Focus on natural language content. Create comprehensive FAQ pages answering common questions conversationally. Write website copy that sounds natural when spoken. Target featured snippets in Google, as voice assistants often pull answers from these. Technical optimization helps too. Use schema markups specifically designed for voice, like speakable specification. Ensure excellent mobile page speed, as many voice searches happen on the go. For local voice search, explicitly incorporate near-me phrases naturally in content, reference local landmarks, and use neighborhood names in content and metadata.
How do you measure voice search success? It seems harder to track.
It is trickier. You can assess your visibility by manually testing voice queries across different platforms and assistants. Look for question-based queries in Google Search Console that might indicate voice searches. Track your acquisition of featured snippets. It's also about future-proofing, thinking about visual search, like Google Lens, voice commerce integrations, and maybe even voice apps down the line.
Preparing for the future of search. What about local SEO, specifically for service area businesses, SABs, those without a physical storefront customers visit, like plumbers or electricians?
SABs have unique challenges. In GBP, clearly define your service areas. Instead of showing a physical address, you can hide your address. Since you lack a physical pin people visit, build location relevance through other means. Dedicated service area pages on your website targeting specific towns or neighborhoods, hyperlocal content, blog posts about projects in specific areas, and getting reviews that mention the locations you served. Build trust signals strongly showcase licenses, insurance, bonding, industry association memberships.
How can their content strategies differ?
Focus heavily on hyperlocal content, neighborhood-specific pages, case studies featuring work done in specific local areas, blog posts about community involvement in the areas you serve. Differentiate your service descriptions based on location. Maybe address specific local building codes, common local issues, or highlight local team members. Use visual content strategically. Before and after photo galleries categorized by location. Maps clearly showing your service radius. Geotagged photos of your team working in specific areas.
Playing up the local service aspect, any competitive advantages SABs can leverage?
Absolutely. Optimize for response time. Highlight your speed of service to specific areas. Use proximity-based messaging. Focus on mobile-first engagement, prominent click-to-call buttons, location-aware features on your website, maybe mobile quote forms that use geolocation. Differentiate through community-focused sponsor events or teams specifically within your key service territories. Offer neighborhood-specific discounts. Participate actively in local community events.
Lean into the local service identity. Another advanced topic, local SEO competitive analysis. How do you properly analyze local competitors?
It's crucial to understand who you're really up against locally. Identify your true competitors who consistently appears in the map pack and local organic results for your main keywords in your specific area. Look beyond the obvious big names. Watch for emerging local threats.
How do you gather intel on them?
Conduct thorough competitive intelligence. Audit their GBP profiles, categories, attributes, photos, posts, Q&A, review velocity and sentiment. Analyze their website's on-page optimization for local keywords. Examine their backlink profile, where are they getting local links. Check their citation profiling, consistency. Perform a content gap analysis, what local topics are they covering that you aren't. Where are their service offerings different?
Once you have that intel, how do you use it strategically?
Look for differentiation opportunities. Are there underserved neighborhoods or niche services they're missing? Can you compete on reputation, hours, specific amenities, or service guarantees? Create benchmarks based on their performance, rankings, review contrating, and track your progress against them. Conduct a location-based SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, comparing your business to key competitors in your specific market.
How do you keep monitoring them?
Set up automated tracking systems for their rankings on key local terms, changes to their GVP listing, and new reviews they receive. Regularly compare your local reputation metrics. Review volume, ratings, sentiment, response rate against theirs. Monitor their backlink and citation profiles for new opportunities they might be leveraging, like new sponsorships or directory listings.
Stay vigilant. Finally, what about emerging local SEO trends? What should businesses keep an eye on?
The playbook highlights a few key areas. Visual local search optimization. Optimizing images for tools like Google Lens, preparing for potential augmented reality, AR features and maps, and leveraging local video content. Local e-commerce integration, using features like Google's local inventory ads, integrating with local marketplaces, creating localized online shopping experiences, and adapting to privacy-first local targeting, focusing on building first-party data, preparing for a cookieless future, exploring local identity resolution techniques that respect user privacy.
Always something new on the horizon. With all these advanced tactics, how should a business decide where to start?
The playbook suggests an implementation roadmap. Start with an assessment. Where are your biggest weaknesses or opportunities based on your goals and competitive landscape? Prioritize the tactics likely to have the biggest impact for your specific situation. Allocate resources, time, budget, personnel, realistically. Establish a clear measurement framework before you start so you can track progress and ROI for these advanced efforts.
Prioritize, plan, measure. Sounds like a solid approach.
Well, this has been an incredibly comprehensive deep dive into local SEO, drawing heavily from the ultimate local SEO playbook.
It really covers the spectrum, from the absolute fundamentals to those cutting-edge tactics. The key takeaway is that local SEO requires a dedicated, consistent, and strategic effort across multiple fronts.
Absolutely. We've journeyed from understanding the core differences of local search, mastering the Google business profile, conducting meticulous keyword research, implementing on-page techniques, building local links, managing online reputation, analyzing performance, all the way to exploring those advanced strategies.
It's a lot, but hopefully breaking it down makes it feel more manageable.
Definitely. And for you, the listener, the original playbook you have access to includes a fantastic action plan checklist. It breaks down tasks into immediate, short-term, medium-term, and long-term actions, which is a great practical guide for implementation. Yeah, that checklist is really helpful for turning this knowledge into concrete steps. The playbook also has a great resources for ongoing local SEO learning section, listing industry blogs, tools, online communities, and events to help you stay up to date, as this field is always evolving.
And it includes a sample implementation timeline, month 1 focusing on foundation, months 2-3 on optimization and content, 4-6 on expansion and engagement, and so on. It helps set realistic expectations. This isn't an overnight fix.
Consistency is absolutely key. Local SEO is an ongoing process, not a one-time project.
So what does success look like? The key metrics we're aiming for are increased visibility in local search and maps, growth in relevant organic traffic, improved conversion rates from local visitors, higher engagement on your GBP listing, more phone calls, direction requests, and website visits, growth in positive reviews, an expanded local link and citation profile, and ultimately improved rankings for your target keywords.
It all ties back to connecting with more local customers and growing your business within your community.
Exactly. Local SEO is about making those connections happen online so they can translate into real-world business. Okay, final thought to leave you with. Now that you have this comprehensive understanding, drawing from this deep dive into the playbook, what's the very first concrete step you'll take this week to start transforming your local presence and connect with more customers right there in your community?
A great question to reflect on. Maybe it's claiming your GBP, maybe it's checking your NAP consistency, maybe it's brainstorming some local content ideas. Just taking that first step is crucial.